There's a kind of woman who walks into a room and turns heads, not because she's the youngest, the loudest, or even the most glamorous, but because there's something about her you can't quite explain. She radiates confidence, calm, and a quiet kind of power that makes you lean in. And the truth is, age didn't take her attractiveness away, it amplified it. If you've ever wondered what truly makes a woman irresistible as she gets older, keep watching. You might just see yourself in ways you never have before. There comes a point in a woman's life where something shifts, not because she tries to force it, but because life, experience, and growth have quietly shaped her into someone who no longer feels the need to prove her worth. She doesn't walk into a room wondering if she's the most beautiful or the youngest. She doesn't compare her body to the 20-somethings or try to keep up with trends that don't feel like her. Because somewhere along the way she stopped competing. She realized the race was never real. And that's when everything changed. People can feel when a woman is grounded in herself. There's a certain peace to her presence. Like she's no longer waiting for someone to pick her. Instead, she's already chosen herself. This kind of attractiveness goes deeper than skin, deeper than outfits, deeper than perfect lighting and filtered photos. It comes from the way she carries herself. Her eyes hold stories, her voice has weight, her words don't beg to be heard. She doesn't seek the spotlight, yet somehow it finds her. That's the quiet power of owning who you are. It's in the way she can laugh at herself without needing to be perfect. It's the way she can celebrate another woman without feeling threatened. It's how she handles attention, not with desperation, but with dignity, because she's not in it for validation, she's in it for connection. And here's what most people miss. When a woman stops trying to outdo everyone else, when she stops trying to be chosen, that's when people start noticing her differently. Not because she's shouting her value, but because she's no longer hiding it. She walks in her own lane, and she's not interested in swerving to fit someone else's expectations. She doesn't lower her standards just to keep someone around. She's not impressed by titles or flash. She's watching how someone treats the people around them, how they show up when it's inconvenient, how they handle discomfort. That's the lens she sees through now. And perhaps the most magnetic thing of all is that she's not afraid to be alone. She enjoys her own company. She fills her life with meaning, not distractions. And when she does open her space to someone, it's an invitation, not a plea. She no longer ties her value to how wanted she is, because she already knows her worth. And that deep, unwavering sense of self is not just attractive, it's irresistible. Not to everyone, but to the kind of person who sees beyond the surface. To the kind of man who's done pretending that youth equals depth. To the kind of relationship where substance matters more than performance. She didn't become this version of herself overnight, but over time, through heartbreak, healing, and hard-won lessons, she's evolved into someone who doesn't need to compete, because she's finally started owning who she is, and the world can feel the difference. There's something almost unexplainable about a woman who walks into a room and draws attention without saying a word. It's not because of what she's wearing or how loud her voice is. It's because she carries an energy that says, "I know who I am." You can't fake that. You can't bottle it or copy it. It's something that comes from within, from years of growing, learning, and letting go of the need to impress. This kind of presence doesn't scream, it whispers, and that whisper is often more powerful than a shout. People turn their heads not because she demands it, but because her self-possession makes them want to. You see, highly attractive older women don't need to chase the spotlight. They don't rely on performance to be noticed. They don't seek validation through how many compliments they get or how many eyes are on them. Their presence is magnetic because it's rooted in calm, not chaos. There's a stillness to them, a sense of ease. And that ease makes people curious. It makes people want to lean in. Because in a world full of noise, someone who's comfortable in silence stands out. She doesn't fill the space with unnecessary words or try to dominate the conversation. Instead, she speaks when she has something to say, and when she does, people listen. That kind of power doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from knowing herself so deeply that she doesn't need to posture or pretend. She's seen enough to know that charm fades when it isn't backed by substance. So she leads with authenticity. And it's that quiet confidence that makes her so attractive. She knows her value, but she doesn't have to prove it. She knows her story, but she doesn't have to explain it. She doesn't seek permission to take up space. She just does. And that subtle confidence sends a clear message. I am here, I am enough, and I am not waiting for you to decide if I'm worthy. There's a strength in the way she moves, unhurried, intentional, fully present. It's in the way she makes eye contact without flinching, the way she listens without interrupting, the way she stays grounded no matter who enters the room. It's attractive not because it tries to be, but because it simply is. This kind of woman doesn't need external approval to feel beautiful. She's not checking mirrors or comparing herself to others. She's not worried about fitting in. She's focused on showing up as the truest version of herself. And that quiet power radiates in ways that are felt, not just seen. People may not always know what it is about her that draws them in, but they'll feel it. They'll feel that calm energy, that centered spirit, that rare combination of softness and strength. It's the kind of presence that lingers even after she's left the room, the kind that makes people wonder, not about her age, but about her story. One of the most powerful traits of a highly attractive older woman is her ability to communicate with clarity, depth, and intention. She's not in conversations to prove something, outwit someone, or play the exhausting game of emotional hot potato. She speaks from a place of truth, not insecurity. When she talks, she's not trying to impress with flashy stories or rehearsed lines. She's present, she's grounded, and her words carry weight. There's no fluff, no drama, no need to create noise just to fill the space. Her presence alone creates meaning in the moment, and the way she communicates draws people in because it feels real, not rehearsed. She doesn't engage in manipulative games, the kind that leave people guessing or constantly questioning where they stand. She says what she means and she means what she says, and there's something wildly attractive about that. In a world full of mixed signals, when she's interested, she shows it. When she's not, she's kind but honest. That kind of transparency is rare. It tells people that they're dealing with someone who has done the work, someone who values their own time enough not to waste anyone else's. Her boundaries are clear, and her communication reflects them, not as a wall to push people away, but as a filter that protects her peace. She's emotionally intelligent. She listens with more than her ears. She reads between the lines. She notices tone, energy, and intention. And because she understands people on that deeper level, she doesn't overreact or jump to conclusions. She pauses. She reflects. She responds, not from ego, but from wisdom. That calm, thoughtful response often says more than loud reactions ever could. She knows that real connection happens in the pauses, in the space where people feel seen and heard, not judged or rushed. When she speaks, she invites vulnerability, not fear. She makes others feel safe to express themselves honestly because she leads by example. She doesn't just talk about emotions, she understands them. She's not afraid of hard conversations. She's not afraid to admit when she's wrong. That humility, that openness is something you only develop after walking through enough life to know that being right is far less important than being understood. And that's what makes her different. She's not looking to win a conversation, she's looking to build something meaningful through it. Her language is a reflection of her inner world, mature, thoughtful, intentional. She's not performative, she doesn't communicate to be liked, she communicates to be clear, to connect, to grow. And because of that, people walk away from conversations with her feeling nourished, not drained. She leaves an impression not because she dominates the space, but because her presence makes it richer. That's what happens when someone speaks from a place of self-awareness and calm confidence. They shift the energy in the room without even trying. There's a distinct difference between maintaining yourself to impress others and doing it out of respect for who you've become. A highly attractive older woman understands this at her core. She doesn't dress well or stay healthy to keep up with expectations. She does it because she knows she deserves to feel good in her own skin. Taking care of herself is no longer a performance, it's a promise she's made to herself. It's no longer about meeting a beauty standard, it's about honoring her body, her mind, and her spirit. And when that intention shifts, the energy she gives off becomes magnetic. People can feel that she's not desperate for attention, she's devoted to alignment. She shows up for herself first, and that inner commitment reflects in everything, from the way she walks to the way she smiles. Her beauty isn't loud, and it's not about perfection, it's about presence. It's in the quiet confidence behind her eyes. It's in the peace she radiates simply by showing up fully in the moment. She doesn't chase trends, she wears what feels like her. She's found her rhythm, her colors, her look, not because a magazine told her what's in, but because she's learned what resonates with her soul. Her self-expression is intentional but effortless. She doesn't overdo, she refines. Her grooming is subtle, yet powerful. She understands that elegance often lies in what you choose not to do. Her appearance reflects a kind of self-awareness that can only come with experience. But it's not just about the outside. She nourishes her body because she wants to feel strong, not just look it. She feeds her mind because she knows curiosity keeps her alive. She protects her peace because she's learned that nothing is worth disturbing her inner balance, and that internal work, the discipline it takes to truly care for yourself on all levels, that's where her glow comes from. Not from a product or a routine, but from years of choosing herself again and again. That commitment is what makes her stand out. It's what makes people take a second look, because there's a noticeable difference between someone who's constantly trying to be seen and someone who already sees their own value. She doesn't wait for someone to tell her she looks good to believe it. She's not dressing for compliments. She's dressing because she respects the woman she's become. And that quiet self-respect is far more attractive than any makeup or dress. It's the way she takes care of herself when no one's watching that makes her captivating when they are. It's how she treats her body like a home, not a billboard. Her beauty is built on intention, not approval. And people sense that. They may not be able to explain why they're drawn to her, but they are. Because self-care, when it comes from a place of love instead of fear, is impossible to ignore. One of the most powerful and attractive qualities a woman develops with age is the ability to distinguish between having standards and building walls. In her younger years, she may have confused the two, like so many people do. She might have said she had high standards when really she was operating from fear, shutting people out to avoid pain. But over time, experience has taught her that real strength is not about being untouchable. It's about knowing what you deserve, being open to receiving it, and having the courage to let go of anything that doesn't align with it. Attractive older women don't play hard to get. They're not interested in games. They're clear about what they want, but they don't use that clarity as a shield to keep people at a distance. They've learned that true connection only happens when you're brave enough to let someone in, but wise enough to protect your peace if they don't know how to treat it. She doesn't demand perfection, but she doesn't tolerate disrespect. She can be compassionate without being a doormat. She can be understanding without being taken for granted. That balance is rare and it's deeply attractive because it's rooted in emotional maturity. She knows that standards aren't about having a long list of superficial requirements. They're about values, about alignment, about energy. She's not impressed by surface-level gestures or grand romantic performances if they aren't backed by consistency and integrity. She pays attention to patterns, not promises. She listens more to actions than to words. And because she's done the inner work, she doesn't try to fix people anymore. She doesn't fall for potential. She falls for presence, for character, for emotional availability. She's no longer trying to convince someone to choose her. She's observing who's already showing up as if they want to. What makes her even more captivating is that she hasn't let past pain harden her. She may have been hurt, deeply even, but she hasn't allowed it to make her bitter. She's protective, not paranoid. She trusts herself now more than she ever did before. And that trust allows her to remain open without being naive. She doesn't punish a good man for what a bad one did. She doesn't sabotage love just because she's scared. She takes her time, she pays attention, she doesn't rush into situations, but she doesn't run from them either. She's not closed off, she's just more discerning. She's not guarded, she's guided. And when someone earns a place in her life, they feel the difference. They feel her depth, they feel her respect, they feel her clarity, but they also feel her softness, her warmth, her willingness to invest in something real. Because even though her standards are high, her heart is still open. She's not waiting for a perfect person. She's open to an imperfect but emotionally available partner who's willing to grow alongside her. And that is the key difference. Her standards don't say, prove you're good enough. They say, show me that you're real. She's not testing anyone. She's not trying to trap anyone. She's simply living from a place of self-worth that no longer feels the need to beg, chase, or pretend. That quiet confidence mixed with emotional generosity creates an energy that's irresistible. Because when a woman can hold space for love without clinging to it, when she can let someone in without losing herself, when she can love with her whole heart and still walk away if she's not being met, that is when she becomes truly unforgettable. There is something undeniably magnetic about a woman who radiates peace. She doesn't walk into a room trying to prove her worth or make an entrance that demands attention. Instead, she brings with her a quiet calm, the kind that makes people feel instantly more at ease in her presence. She's not rushing, not chasing, not checking her phone every 5 seconds to see who's thinking about her. She's here, fully. And that grounded energy is one of the most attractive things a person can experience. It says, I know who I am. I'm not trying to be chosen. I've already chosen myself. She's not anxious about love anymore. She's not lying awake at night wondering why someone hasn't called or overanalyzing every message to decode hidden meaning. That phase of her life has passed. She's found a deeper form of self-worth that isn't dependent on someone else's interest or attention. She's not desperate to be seen because she already sees herself clearly. And that kind of self-assurance doesn't just bring peace to her, it brings peace to those around her. Her relationships no longer feel like emotional roller coasters, they feel like safe spaces. That's the energy she brings. Not pressure, not tension, not a checklist of expectations, but presence. She gives love from a place of fullness, not need. She's not looking for someone to complete her, fix her, or rescue her. She's already done the work of rescuing herself. She's already been through the storms and figured out how to build her own shelter. So when someone comes into her life now, it's not about dependency, it's about complementing what she already has. It's not about filling a void. It's about sharing a journey. That's why the people who experience her love often say they've never felt anything like it, because it's not built on fear or control. It's built on freedom. She doesn't panic when someone pulls away. She doesn't crumble when things don't work out, because she knows she'll be okay. She's learned that peace isn't found in the hands of another person. It's cultivated within. She's discovered that true security doesn't come from being constantly reassured. It comes from trusting herself to handle whatever comes. And that kind of inner peace can't be faked. You either have it or you don't. When you do, it becomes impossible to ignore. Even in moments of conflict, she doesn't escalate things just to be heard. She doesn't need to win arguments or prove points. She seeks understanding, not domination. She listens, reflects, and communicates with grace. That emotional maturity doesn't mean she's passive. It means she's powerful in a way that doesn't require noise. And it's in that restraint, in that self-control, that her attractiveness truly shines. Because people feel safer around someone who doesn't explode. They open up more easily around someone who doesn't react with insecurity or ego. She's emotionally generous, but she's not reckless with her energy. She knows how to love deeply without losing herself in the process. She knows how to care without overextending, and most importantly, she knows how to choose peace over chaos, even if it means walking away from something that doesn't serve her. Her sense of wholeness is not conditional, it's consistent. That's what makes her different. That's what makes her glow. Because peace isn't passive, it's the result of choices, boundaries, healing, and growth. And when you meet a woman who carries that kind of peace, you never forget her. The most attractive older women don't try to be anyone else. They've become fully themselves. Through experience, self-reflection, and real growth, they've developed a magnetic energy that doesn't beg for attention but naturally commands it. They've let go of the need to chase, to compete, or to prove. Instead, they've chosen to live with clarity, intention, and grace. They own their presence, they speak with purpose, they care for themselves from a place of self-respect, and they love without fear, because they know their worth doesn't come from who chooses them, but from how deeply they've chosen themselves. That's what makes them truly irresistible. Not their age, not their beauty, but the peace, strength, and confidence they carry within.